Hey everybody, it's Chamber Matt from the South Kitsap Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our 2023 general election candidate interviews. There are 9 races happening in the South Kitsap area, 5 for the city of Port Orchard, and 3 for the South Kitsap School Board, and 1 for South Kitsap Fire and Rescue. The South Kitsap School District will also have a capital bond on the ballot in November. As part of the series, we reached out to all 18 candidates several times to schedule an interview. All but 3 of the candidates responded. We asked all the candidates in each race the same questions, and none of the candidates had the questions in advance. I let the candidates answer the questions as best they could. I then spliced together the interviews so that you could have a side-by-side comparison. Big disclaimer here, I am not a professional editor. We did these interviews on Zoom, so please be patient with my editing. The Chamber will also be hosting an information forum for the school bond on October 11th at 5:30 p.m. upstairs at Whiskey Gulch, and a candidate meet and greet on October 26th, also at 5:30 at Whiskey Gulch. Come on out, meet the candidates, and hear about the school bond. Ballots should come out sometime around October 20th, and they are due back to the ballot box by November 7th. Thanks for watching. Remember to vote and make an informed decision. Hey everybody, it's Chamber Matt, and today I am joined by Megan Higgins, who is running for the South Kitsap School Board. Megan, what position are you running for?
I am running for District 2.
District 2.
And that area covers Manchester and Southworth, but everybody gets to vote.
Right. I think that's an important distinction, because just because we've got districts and there's actually 5 school board members, everybody in South Kitsap votes on every district board member. So It's important. Megan may live out that direction, but she still represents everybody in South Kitsap. So Megan, thank you for joining us today. It's a simple process. We've got 6 questions, and unless you got anything else, we're ready to roll.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay. Hey everybody, it's Chamber Matt, and today I am joined with Jamie Cross, who is running for the South Kitsap School Board, position number, what
District
position?
2.
2. Position 2.
Yes.
Jamie, thanks for joining me today. It's a simple process, and if you're ready to go, then let's roll.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, super. So the first question for some people is one of the toughest ones, but it's simply, tell us about yourself and why do you think you're qualified to be a South Kitsap School District board member?
Okay, my name's Jamie Cross. I'm 56, lifelong resident of South Kitsap community. Third generation, actually probably 4th generation. My actually great grandmother was the last living resident in the Sydney Hotel. So back in the 70s, when I was a young man, I spent some time down there. It was pretty neat experience and pretty neat place. And I hear say that my great grandfather actually had something to do with starting the water and sewer district. It's back in the day. So many ties to the community. I've went to schools in South Kitsap. I have 2 older kids that went through the system back in the 90s and 2000s, and now I have 3 in the system right now. Got one at South Colby, one that was going to go to Sedgwick, but now she's going to the Explorer Academy, and then I have one that just started the high school. So that's a little bit about myself and my family. I have started my business in 93. I do masonry. I've been in business in SK up until I started in 93, and 2009, I went into the shipyard, did 6 years in the shipyard, and then got back out of there and started my business again. And here we are, rolling along. I have 3 crews, 5 employees. So
outstanding.
Creating some jobs here in the community. So that's a good thing. So that's a little about myself. Sponsor Little Leagues, kids activities, pretty involved with all that. And what was the rest of the question? Why should I?
Why qualifications? Why do you think you should be a board member?
Well, I know kids. I've had kids, lots of kids, and have a lot of business experience. Always earn my own way. Good decision making. I have a solid business in the same community for 30 years, so you don't do that by having poor business practices and doing shoddy work. So I'm pretty analytical. I like to take problems on running a business, especially masonry. You're always up against problems. You're always, nothing's perfect or as said. So you're always deviating a little bit and trying to find the best solution. And I just think that bringing some of that to the school board with the way things are going these days, maybe we need to start looking in different directions. And it seems like the school board has been for years, it's got a lot of backing from the system and the union. So it's always just kind of keeps chugging along in the same direction. And I think it's time to get some different aspect in there and maybe some new ideas.
Tough one. And
All
that's
right,
just
thank you.
simply tell us about yourself and why do you think you're qualified to be a South Kitsap School District board member?
It's a good question. A little bit about myself. I am a mom of 3 young kids. They 2 are in the elementary school and 1 just started preschool today. And so I have a very busy home. I'm often, you might see me at soccer practice or doing things like that. I have a background. I have a degree in biology, which you might think doesn't really apply to being a school board member, but you do a lot of research and you figure out how to interpret data, which there's a lot of data that comes in to the school board a lot. In the school board meetings, you see a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of things like that, and you need to be able to interpret that and make decisions. And I also, with that background, I found that it's very important to do a lot of research and make sure that I am informed about the topics that come forth, and that I also listen to all different perspectives before I make a decision. And that, I think, is really what the school board does, is that we listen to complaints or responses from the community, and we take those in and we can make policies, adjust things. And it's really important that you are open to listening to everybody, listening to understand, and then make informed decisions based on that.
All right, thank you. So the first real question dealing with the school district, and it's a simply complicated question. Let's put it that way. What do you think? This is a kind of a two-parter, because the first question is, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for the school district? And then the second part, I'm going to ask you what the challenges are too. But the first is, what are the biggest opportunities that face the school district, and why are they great opportunities?
What do you mean by opportunities?
Well, the things they got going for them.
Okay. Yeah, I think they got some good staff and stuff. They have some good teachers up there, and they're trying to do their job. I think what they have going with the culinary and the trades right now is they've really. I went up with my daughter to the before school started, and they had a big trade fair for electives, and it was amazing the different opportunities that these kids have, from building construction to culinary to engineering stuff and all kinds of good stuff. And I think that these days we're lacking a lot of good tradesmen coming out of school, and I think it'd be a good opportunity to tie some of that into some of these local businesses and maybe unions, and get these kids out of school and get them right into ready to go in the workforce. And I think that's one of the good things going on there. And gosh, that I loved all the sports programs and all that stuff. Of course, my kids participate in a lot of that, so we have lots of opportunity there. There's an opportunity to come together more as a community. I think we're missing the boat on that a little bit. I think we need more parental involvement, more community involvement, and we need to just come back together and concentrate on the kids and education.
The first real question then is, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for the South Kitsap School District, and why?
I think the biggest opportunities, well, I've done a lot of research recently and I found a lot of great programs. Like we have some businesses that partner with the school, the South Kitsap High School. I know that Boeing partners with them. I think that's a great opportunity. I know that we had 10 kids hired immediately. When they graduated, they had a job at Boeing. I think that that's incredible. I think there are tons of uh, opportunities at the high school because it is a rather large high school. There are lots of different groups and things that we offer our children. And I think that's fantastic. I also find that this is a very diverse community, and I think that's a great opportunity for our kids to learn and grow and learn that this is how the world is and that we all need to learn to grow and coexist with lots of people who are not like us and that we can benefit from that. I think that we all learn from each other and we are greater together than we are by ourselves. And so I think that those are two great opportunities that we have here in South Kitsap.
So the next question then is you addressed the biggest opportunities. So now can you talk to me a little bit about what you believe some of the challenges that the school district is facing, and how do you think you can help face those challenges?
So I think if you talk to anybody, I'm pretty sure they might come up with the exact same answer, is that we have a lot of challenges with our facilities currently. There have been bonds that have been tried to be passed in the past that have not passed because people haven't wanted to pass a second high school, and that's fine. But now that it's been 30 years since we've had a new building built, and a lot of our schools are in disrepair and they're not functional. They're not up to par for our kids. A lot of kids are they don't meet the requirements for accessibility. Kids are having to enter in through back doors when they need a wheelchair instead of the front door with their peers, and that makes a big difference. People might think, oh, that's not a big deal, but for kids, that means something. I mean, if you had to enter work through a different door every day, it affects you, that you're not the same as everybody else. So I think that this bond that's coming up is also an opportunity for all of us to show our kids that we support them, that we want them to succeed, that we care about them being able to take a test. I know that in the past they have had to move test dates because it was too hot in the building. And we have facilities where teachers aren't able to heat up a lunch in their lunchroom because it will blow out all of the power in the next door classroom and the whole classroom will lose power. And so we have some needs that are not just like, oh, we'd like a new school. These needs are basic needs for our kids to be able to function and be able to handle the needs of our kids. There's a lot of technology that is needed, and I would like to make sure that we are fulfilling those needs so that our kids are prepared to not only go on to college if that's their desire, but that they can also enter the workforce, because there's a lot of technical training that's needed on computers in order to be able to be a qualified candidate for a job. And I would like to see that our kids leave our high school with those opportunities open to them and not closed to them because we aren't willing to support our kids and show them that this is important and that we can support them.
Next question then is, that we talked about what the district's got going for it and the opportunities. What do you feel are some of the biggest challenges that face the South Kitsap School District, and how can you help face those challenges and overcome those challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges right now is after they shut the schools down for 2 years, I think it's the younger kids. Third grade, for example, is third grade is at like 70% of the kids are below standard at third grade reading, and that's a big issue, especially since they keep moving them up grades. If you're not reading at third grade, you're going to fourth grade, and a lot of the math and a lot of the other curriculum, it all involves reading. So I think we should be targeting that with whatever resources we can come up with. We're going to have to put some pressure on the superintendent for some, we're going to need some results on, I don't know if we need to break the kids into smaller groups based on ability instead of trying to teach a class as one whole. But we really need to target that group. The younger kids are really struggling right now, and we got to get them caught up. So that's something that needs some work. I think a lot of the ideologies and political stuff that's been influxed into the schools, I don't think that's the place for it. I know there's a lot of the gender stuff going on in this critical race theory and social emotional learning, and not everybody's on board with that. Personally, I'm not on board with a lot of that stuff. It doesn't fit into my values. So I think we need to let the parents be the parents to the kids, and the school needs to start focusing more on educating the kids. So I realize a lot of that comes from the federal and state legislature, and there's got to be some ways to ease them out of it a little bit and get back to more community based and what fits the community.
Yeah. What can the school district do, or how can the school district demonstrate good financial stewardship to the community?
Okay. So I think the school board is doing quite a bit already. I think they have a lot of our meetings are open to everybody. I said our, but I'm not on the school board. But I've attended a lot, so maybe I feel like it's home already. But you can attend any school board meeting that you want in person, but they also have them available via Zoom, which I think is incredible. And they have them on file. You can watch old ones, and you can be up to date. So financially, that's where they talk about all the finances on the school board. The school board reviews the finances of the school district, and they're able to prioritize what we want to focus on with the budget. And so, because we have a limited amount of funds and we need to use them for lots of different things, unfortunately, we can't fund everything that we want to, but we can make priorities. And so I think that we can make those priorities clear, make sure that we talk about it in the meetings and put it on the school board's website, the school district's website. We can say these are our priorities. This is where we're focusing financially. Also, hopefully, if the bond is passed, that there are updates on a regular basis where we say this is where we are in the building process. This is what we're focusing on. This is where the money is headed right now. This is where it will be in the future. And as we do that, I think that will be really helpful to people to see where the money is actually going. I think that the school has so many different areas that we have to do. There's money that has to go for food services. Actually, I think I should take that back because I think that they're pretty self-sustaining. They have a lot of federal funding on their own, but there's a lot of working parts in a school district just to be able to have the school supplies for the kids and different things. And so as long as the school board is making sure that they are recording those meetings and they're putting up the paperwork that are shown in the slides there at those meetings, that they make those available to people. I think that that's the best that we can do. And I think that people need to look for it. If that's interesting to them, you can also come and ask the school district. And I would bet you that people would be happy to show you where those are going. And I think that that's the best way that we can show our finances and be transparent to the community.
Next question is, what do you think the school district can do or should do to demonstrate its good financial stewardship to the community?
Well, that goes a long ways. We're really in a budget bind, I guess you would call it right now. It's just tough, it seems like all the projects always run way over budget. It's always our fund balance is not built up. We're taking loans out to buy chillers for the high school. I think budget wise, we need to look forward a little bit more and start say for the buildings and just maintenance. We when you put a new chiller on the high school, the life, it's going to last probably 20 years. So maybe every year you start putting a certain amount of money away. So when it comes down to needing that new chiller, you have the money in reserve, little pre-planning. And I think the I have nothing against teachers and staff, but we're way over on our what the state pays for. So 85% of our tax money from property taxes goes to pay for additional staff, whether it be teachers, nurses. I noticed that my son goes to South Colby. I was looking at the faculty list, and they have 3 nurses on the faculty. And it just seems like we need to get more back focused to education and what's working. Obviously, with the testing and the scores and where we're at, and it's not just South Kitsap, it's statewide, but we need to, it's just not working. We keep throwing money, and that's supposedly directly to the kids that money's being spent, but the results aren't showing that. So we need to look at the budget and start being a little more fiscal responsible.
If the community does not support the upcoming school bond, what actions should the school board take to address the declining the condition of the district facilities?
If the bond doesn't pass, I think we're going to have to run some smaller capital levies. We're going to have to strategically target what's the worst areas and start there. And we're going to have to run a smaller, more targeted capital levy for maintenance. And we're going to have to, get to work on that. I think something like that would probably pass. People know that the schools need upkeep. I don't know if everybody's sold on this big ask they're doing now. So it's going to have to be more targeted and smaller amounts. And once the community starts seeing some good results from that, where the money's being spent wisely and, showing them that. And a lot of that comes down to communication. You got to communicate. Thanks for passing the levy. This is what we're doing, and kind of keep people updated on the process a little bit, also a little transparent, and then regain some of the trust throughout the community that the school's being wise with the money and it's getting spent properly.
You've mentioned a couple times the good old school bond and the lack of our ability to pass bonds in the past. And you alluded to the deteriorating facilities situation on in many different areas of the school district. So this next question deals with that, and it's a tough question. That if the community does not support the upcoming school bond, what actions should or could the school board take to address the continuing decline of district facilities?
Okay. Yeah, that is tough because I'm really hoping that this bond passes because like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we have a middle school that is literally sinking, and it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad deal. We've got some big problems that we've got to deal with. So if we don't pass the bond, I think the best thing we can do is to come up and ask the community really what we need to do to show them how we can pass another bond. I think we can pass an emergency bond, not by ourselves, but we can work to make it a smaller or whatever it is and go out and reach out in the community. I think they really did that though for this bond. It has been really well researched. It was from members of the community and parents and staff. They all went to every facility and actually looked at what every building needed, which I don't think had been done in previous bonds because they just were focusing on building a new high school. So this was a really good assessment of our needs. Now, I have been shocked to hear if people are against it. And I think it's because they think it's still the same one. The people who are against it, I think they've been like, I'm not going to vote for a second high school. And then I'm like, wait, it doesn't even include a second high school. We're just remodeling the current high school, and we're basing it on the very basic needs, and we're focusing on our vulnerable spots. So if it doesn't pass, I think that we need to really reassess and to really educate people that this is not a bond where we're just trying to spend a bunch of money. This is not us being irresponsible with money. This is us trying to take care of basic needs for our kids. And we would have to redirect our kids to our facilities and relook at I mean, if a school is really awful, we're going to have to try and move the kids around to different spots. We'll have to shift and do what we need to do. I mean, I guess we will make do because that's what we do. We just all have to survive. And I believe this school district could do it, but I would really hate to see that. But I don't think that we will fail, but I do think that we, as a community, I think that we're ready to support this. I've seen a lot of positive feedback from people saying, hey, people really did a good job on this bond. So I'm hopeful. And if it doesn't go through, I will keep the hope, and we will keep moving forward to try and address these issues that we have.
All right, Jamie. So now we are down to the last question. So this went pretty quick. Hopefully it hasn't been too painful for you. But
Not at all.
the last question is simply, why are you the best choice for the South Kitsap School District Board?
I'm the best choice because I have no skin in the game. I'm not backed by any of the unions. I'm just a regular guy from the community with kids in the system, and I'm just concerned that the system's failing a lot of families and kids right now, and it's statewide. You know, you can't be mad at South Kitsap, but it's a statewide and nationwide issue right now, and we just need to get some people in there. I represent just families in the community. I'm there to make the right decision of what's best for the kids. I'm not afraid of, you know, some people's feelings might get hurt, but we need to it's a little tough love, you know. We need to focus on what's important, and education's important, and these kids aren't getting the education they need, and they're not getting ready to get out in the world and join the workforce and become, you know, great members of the community. So I think I'm the guy that's you know, like I say, I'm going to go in there and do what's right for the kids and community. I'm not going to worry that the union's mad that I did this, or I'm not beholden to any of that. So, you know, go in there, common sense, talk about the issues and resolutions, and throw, you know, I'm not leaning in either way. It's whatever's going to be best for the kids, whatever we can do to get results, because what seems to be happening now isn't working. So just love this community, grew up in this community, and I'm going to be in this community. And
last question for you here. Last official question is, why are you the best choice for the South Kitsap School Board?
I believe that I am the best choice because I think that we could use a little bit more diversity on our school board. If you look at our current school board, it is made up of members who are mostly retired. We do have someone who has some kids still in the school district, but they are older. Not, I mean, they're not older, but they're in like high school, I think. But my kids are in the elementary school, and I think that that is a different demographic. And I think that there is a lack of a voice from the younger parents that could be really useful. I come with kids. I have skin in the game. I'm really invested. I want good things for my kids, for their future. And I know that that takes time. And so I started coming to school board meetings because I showed up with this attitude of how can I help? I don't know that I can solve all of the problems, but I love to come and say, how can I help? Where do you need me? Because I recognize that there are a lot of people that already know what needs to be done. They just need help accomplishing it. And I don't have a huge background in education, but I have kids that are in the education system. I have siblings who are teachers, not in this district. And so I'm familiar with the education system and how it works. And I just want to help the community. And I think that I can be a good voice. I'm also a reasonable and level-headed person. Like I mentioned, I just like to respond after I have received a lot of the information, and to wait until that happens. And I think that's really important for a member of the school board, that I don't come with all the answers already, that I know how I want things to be, because I think that it's really important to listen and listen to understand, and then to come up with solutions. And as a school board, you need to work together, and sometimes you have to compromise. And I think that I'm a person who can do that. And I hope that I'm given the opportunity to bring a different voice than is currently on the school board.
We do have on October 11th, we have a separate, you know, I don't want to say it's an open house, but it is a school bond discussion that the chamber is hosting on October 11th at the Whiskey Gulch, upstairs at Whiskey Gulch. And so I would encourage everybody that has questions on that to come out and watch that or participate in that and ask questions. Because, you know, I think Megan hit it on the head, is that this is not the same old bond that has been pushed for the last probably 4 elections. This is not about a second high school. So I would encourage everybody to attend the forum, watch all the videos on the school board members, because there are 3 of them, and there's a lot of diversity and a lot of changes that are coming down the pike on that. Megan, thank you for joining me. You know, it's exciting. I want to thank you for stepping up, because it's not easy, and your life, if you are elected, will change. You know, and so there will be lots of other things in your life besides your 3 kids.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
recognize that.
yeah. So thanks for joining us, and
Thank you so much for having me.
absolutely. And I encourage everybody to stick around and check out the other videos. There are, like I said before, there's 3 for the county. There are 4 positions that are open. There's 3 school board and the fire commissioners. If you live in the city limits of Port Orchard, there are also 5 city elections. So make sure you get your ballots, turn them in, and check out all the information. Megan, all right. So thank you, Jamie. So everybody, that was Jamie Cross running for South Kitsap School Board. The elections are coming up. We're probably 25-ish days away from ballots dropping. Ballots are due November 7th. Thank you for joining me today, Jamie. Thank you for stepping up. It is not an easy decision to make, and it's, you know, it's not an easy road to go down. Yep. Okay. So thanks, Jamie.
All right.
And we will look forward to working with you in the future.
All right, Matt. Thanks a lot.